And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate. Welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Got a great lineup for you today here. Going to have attorney Jason Kobal on the show. He's a great local attorney, winning multiple awards and doing some really good stuff in the areas of work comp law. It's really about employees with him and also any types of personal injury type law. He does a great job for us as a contributor on the show. We have Ray Hall coming up as well, Ray Hall Appraisals, Diane VANCE as well on the show. So we got to talk about local values and things happening within some of these transactions. We're going to take you inside the transaction right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show so you can understand more about the dynamics of the real estate transaction and what's happening here locally in Tampa Bay. We're your consumer advocate here every day, 4 o'clock drive time on AM 860 The Answer, helping you win in any marketplace, as we say. Quick shout out to Veteran Gutters. If you're looking to add gutters to your home, they can significantly, improve your roof system. And Veteran Gutters, Brandon Porter and his team do a great job. American made. He's a veteran as well. Let's support local companies here, as we always say on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Shout out to Veteran Gutters, Brandon Porter and his team to do such a great job here with the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, let's make our introductions on the phone. Diane VANCE, welcome back.
Hey, Brandon, good to be back. Yes, calling you from Savannah, Georgia, where I'm a new grandma.
Congratulations, that is
to
super
my
cool.
Fourth grandson, but her first baby.
Oh, wow. That's such a special moment for a family, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. He's sweet as can be. You forget how tiny they are, but yes, good
awesome.
to be back.
Well, give Lindsay our best and everyone, and very good, very good. And we got Ray Hall in the house, Ray Hall Appraisals.
Hey, how's it going, Brandon?
Doing well, man.
Good. Keeping busy out there, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Man, it's quite the market we're going through right now.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm surprised, actually, Diane's got time to go to Savannah.
Yeah, exactly.
I can imagine
but
how...
You know what? It's great is that with the COVID did some good things for us. They really taught us how to remotely work, right? So...
Yeah.
We can work anywhere. I brought my, because we're going to be here for a while, and I brought my screens, and of course Lindsay has her laptop, but I have my laptop as well, so I can work anywhere in the country. It's really kind of cool.
I'm trying to transition my business towards that, where I don't have to always be here to do it.
Yeah.
I can
It works very well. Nobody wants to go back to the office. It's the funniest thing, and they're very productive.
I want to be down in Key West on Sloppy Joe's with a laptop in front of me.
There you go.
They're doing the work.
Like
I have not done that yet, but
Kenny Chesney style, down in the Caribbean.
Absolutely.
Bob Marley style, or working from a boat. Speaking of that, how will that affect commercial real estate? Right, we've talked about that on the show. More and more people working remotely. You also think about, so you think about the commercial side of office space, and then look at, some of the behemoths like Amazon just growing and growing, adding all these different systems. Mm-hmm. So let's jump into some of the dialogue here. How will that affect, what do you see happening over the next 3 to 5 years?
I think what we're obviously we're going to see some problems with the office market.
Yeah.
The office market has seen some hits since COVID. I've looked at a lot of reports that say it's been down. But the good thing about commercial real estate is it's not like a single family home. It transitions to other things. You can take an office space, as long as it's allowed by zoning, and convert it to a restaurant.
Kind of repurpose it. Yeah.
It's a little easier to repurpose, because if you ever see a commercial building when it's being built, it's a shell.
Yeah.
Where we're at right now, it's mostly just the 4 walls, and then the interior is usually just partition walls.
Yep.
To serve the purpose. So I think there's going to be a lot of repurposing of that commercial space from the office and maybe retail to maybe things that are more popular. Remember, so many parts of the country are still shut down.
Yeah.
We're not. We're 100% restaurants are open, 100% bars are open.
Yep.
So it may just be, there's smart people out there.
Yeah.
And usually when you're running a successful business, you're a smart person. And smart people know how to use that type of asset to their advantage. And
Sure.
I think we're going to see a lot of repurposing of those buildings.
Yep. Diane, same question to you.
Yeah, and I think you got to also do little executive suites. You may not need that big office. You may turn it into, because we're all being licensed. We have to have a space somewhere. You can't just be working from your home. You're not allowed to be licensed in Florida and working out of your home. So you have to have a business address and business space.
Right.
But that doesn't have to be a big space. But it's funny because, everybody remembers the Roaring '20s and you talk about restaurants and repurposing and things like that. The Roaring '20s was actually known because you don't hear about the, Spanish flu, but that's the reason they called it the Roaring '20s, because people were so pent up from the Spanish flu that they just went out and did all sorts of things during the Roaring '20s, and it just grew and flourished and everything else. So, I believe that's probably what's going to happen in our world is that, it's as everybody's getting vaccinated, and, a lot of people in Florida are vaccinated. So
already had it. That's
I've had mine. I mean, and a lot of my children have had their first one. The in-laws here, for my daughter's in-laws, they've both had it. So a lot of people are getting vaccinated. So people are getting more and more comfortable with going out and going to restaurants. So I believe that some of those restaurants that didn't make it, maybe, or had to slow down or whatever, I think it's just going to flourish.
Yeah. When I said already had it, I meant already had the COVID without a vaccine and beat it. Beat COVID, and so those two segments: people that have already had it and beat it and went through it and developed the immunity, the antibodies, and then also the people that have been vaccinated. Right.
Yep. And another thing we might start seeing is, as we've talked about in other shows, our population growth down here is tremendous right now.
Yes.
With all the people coming from up north, we may see a lot of these, especially industrial properties, be converted into lofts, residential properties, because we have that. We don't have a supply. Yeah. As much as they're building out there right now, they can't keep up with the demand. Yeah. So a lot of these business owners may get to transitioning into a residential use and selling those off as condos or even just the income producing or something along that.
Similar to the boom in 05, 06
exactly.
was the condo conversions, taking apartment complexes and converting those to condos. Mm-hmm. And if you just joined us, we're talking with Diane VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage, a local lender. Again, support the local economy. We greatly appreciate all those who reach out to our hotline. We got Ray Hall in studio as well. By the way, the hotline, if you want to reach out and join the conversation, call or text 813-750-0550. You can call or text that line. It's an off-air number, 813-750-0550. And, the governor or the mayor of Miami is making some headlines right now, too, just kind of openly saying, hey, how can we help people? Come on down. We're open for business. We have, a great governor here. The businesses are running. We have, I think down there's a big center for cryptocurrencies. I haven't followed it a whole lot, but yeah, I mean, look at what's happening with South Florida.
I think Florida's been doing really well. I'm almost proud to say that I live in Florida right now.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of criticism from other states how we were shut down for just a short period of time and we should have extended our lockdown, but we have a strong economy now.
Yep.
We have people coming in now. We have jobs.
Yep.
And I don't see where we were any worse off than anybody else when it came to COVID.
Look at night and day. It's night and day. You compare Florida to California, right? Mm-hmm. Beautiful, sunny over there. Yes, we have a little older population. And in spite of that older population, plus, I just heard this on a podcast. It's a little, whatever. But, in San Francisco, by the way, did you know they actually have crap maps of the city to let you know where the homeless people frequently do their thing, called crap maps.
Wow.
Yeah, Google it and check it out. So think about, do we want our cities and state to be ran like that, or do we want it to be ran like Governor DeSantis is running it?
Yeah. I like I said, we have a beautiful state. I mean, I drive down the interstate now, and they have these big projects going on where they're beautifying the interstates. There's palm trees and these little garden areas, and it looks great.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
You're not going to see that in California.
Yep, exactly. Diane, what's going on with rates and the market from what you're seeing on your end?
Well, the rates are actually staying pretty low. The Fed still are doing their easing. They're not easing up, I guess I should say. They're still buying mortgage-backed securities. And interest rates are still very low. They've actually, they've kind of dropped a little bit. So it's still a good market. And unemployment figures today were up. So new unemployment for the second week in a row, which unfortunately that helps with the interest rates, making it better. But they're still very good.
Yeah, rates are great. What about investors? I just had an opportunity cross my desk, and I'm just starting to think more and more of, some of these. I came across 9 units that had some serious cash flow. Let's say someone like me that has, we have our own primary residence home, but we want to start getting into investment properties. Somebody out there thinking, wow, I see the market looking where it's at. I want to start buying investments. What's the lowest down payment? Because I think that's what people look for, right? They're going to look for the least amount down payment. What kind of programs do you have for that?
So any units that are 1 to 4 units. So a 1 unit property is 15% down, right? 1.5, and anything above a 1 unit, so a 2 to 4 unit is 25% down, unless you're going to use it as a primary home. So if you're going to use it as a primary home, you can actually purchase. You can actually purchase it under FHA with 3.5% down. So. Unless it's being used as primary home, that's kind of what the guidelines are now. So if you're doing anything above a 4-unit property, needs to be it would be considered a commercial property, but
right.
Anything to 4 units are actually a residential.
And Brandon, I think something that a lot of people don't realize is you can buy that multifamily property under FHA as long as you live in one of those units.
Right.
Yes.
They do have a program for that.
And even veterans, we've talked about veterans a lot of times. They serve our country. We give them discounts. We offer lots of discounts for veterans out there. And I know 860 The Answer is very popular with veterans. So reach out if you'd like to talk to us. But yeah, veterans can do the same thing. 100% financing up to a 1 to 4 unit. 1 to 4 unit, that is, and live in one side, rent out all 3 of the others, and just have some significant cash flow. And then at some point, if they decide to sell it, as long as they have a lease in place, right, Diane, they're going to be able to do that, show a lease, and then do it again if they wanted to.
Actually, what we do is we actually, so when somebody purchases a property, what we do is the appraiser actually give a market rent. I believe you do that, Ray, for all the investment properties, right? You just go ahead and get what the market rent is. And then we can give the credit. Now, under the government loan, you can give the credit of the just up to the payment. You can't have it as additional income to qualify. And under a conventional loan, of course, if you don't have a history of rental, then you can also offset that payment. But if you have a history of any rental properties, then you can go ahead and use that as income. Now, you cannot, if you've never owned a property and you're renting somewhere, you cannot buy an investment property as your first home. You need to have a home, or if you've owned a home in the past, you can use that. But if you're brand new, as far as never, this is your first time home buying, you need to do a first home first and then buy your rental property.
Perfect. That's a strategy right there. So stay with us. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, more from our expert contributors here in studio. Ray Hall Appraisals, Diane VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage here in Tampa Bay. And we have a feel-good story of the day, as we always do. A woman who can't swim rescues elderly man who fell into harbor. This is out of New York. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here with your real estate market update. Owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty with your Pasco County residential listings update on the market. Got the latest data here from the multiple listing service, the Mid-Florida Regional MLS. Okay, inventory is low as we know, but it actually dropped again in February. In January, we have 1,202 properties, and in February 2021, we're down to 1,043 properties available for sale in Pasco County. Now, come on down and you look at the properties that have sold. Those numbers are up. 976 properties in January sold compared to 1,046 in February that sold in all of Pasco County residential sales. So if you divide the solds by the listed, that's 102%, absorption rate, and a 1 month supply of inventory. Strong seller's market, great opportunity. And I've got lots of vacant land also if you're looking to build. We have some opportunities there for vacant land throughout the area, Tampa Bay area. 813-750-0550. Please call or text our hotline, 813-750-0550. 520-550-0550. And also consumerqb.com is our radio and TV show info, consumerqb.com, or platinummvpteam.kw.com. You can see our listings there and also reach out through the website at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Brandon Rhymes here. Thanks so much. We greatly appreciate your support. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals. Couple of hot listings here. 1010 Bay Esplanade. This is a property on Clearwater Beach, the gorgeous Clearwater Beach, #1 beach in the world, consistently ranked in the top, 2 or 3, and always in the top 1 or 2 or 3 right there on Clearwater Beach, 1010 Bay Esplanade. Beautiful property. What I like about this home is you've got not only a beautiful home, single-family structure, but you also have a separate, call it a mother-in-law suite, call it a apartment rental, and a third-story sun deck where you can see the beautiful views of the intercoastal waterways and the Gulf of Mexico, and just a quick walk to the beach. Millionaires Row, 1010 Bay Esplanade, gorgeous property listing of ours. 202 West Shore is a lot we have in South Tampa. 202 West Shore Drive, right here in Tampa Bay. This is a beautiful property. Again, build your dream home right here, or potentially commercial. It's right on the corner there. Over there, there's a Starbucks and Panera right on the corner. 202 Southwest Shore Boulevard in South Tampa. Great buying opportunities. You can see all of our 40 plus listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right. And this segment is brought to you by Discovery Golf Cars. Say hello to our friends over at Discovery Golf Cars. They've got a Clearwater location and a Tampa location, and they have lots of great makes and models. E-Z-GO, Star EV, Cushman. They offer new and pre-owned, and you can also rent or buy Discovery Golf Cars, formerly known as Golf Cart Depot. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we've got Diane VANCE on the line, also Ray Hall here in studio. Ray Hall Appraisals. Ray, what's topical right now? What do we need to talk about? I know in the past you've said, people got to be careful of overpaying, and I think we were kind of talking about a little bit of that before the show.
That's running rampant now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's when we first started talking, let's say a year ago when we talked about it, what didn't happen all that often. Obviously as the appraiser, when we're appraising a property for purchase, we're given a copy of that contract. And, so we can look in the market and see, what's supportable, what's not, things like that. But now it seems as though people are almost desperate to buy, oddly enough, and significantly overpaying. And I had an incident, I'll talk about the one we were talking about off air, where it was in a high-end area and over by the beach, and it was priced as a beachfront property, but it wasn't on the beach. And we made every effort to see why it was priced where it was, and there was none. And we were several $100,000 below the contract price.
Wow.
And what surprises me is, and I've said this before, people put so much effort into getting a good deal on their car. Yeah. And they put such effort into getting a good deal on everything, yet when it comes to real estate, they just want to throw money at it. Yeah. And, we've said it before, everyone has heard, your biggest investment is your home.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever heard the investment advice? Hey, don't pay more than what they're asking. Are they asking 200? Pay 220 so you can make sure you get it.
Yeah.
What investment guru has ever said that in his life?
Yeah.
None. But that's what's going on right now, and people are putting themselves in a bad way because values are going to cool off eventually.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It might not be a crash, but it could be a cool. And at that
what's going to drive that? What will drive that?
Possibly interest rates, the value of the dollar.
Okay.
That's
jobs.
Who knows? We've talked about it before. You never know.
Yeah.
But it does happen. It's a cycle.
It's everything on the planet is cyclical.
Exactly. And real estate. And this might not happen for 5-10 years from now. Who knows?
Yeah.
But you need to be careful because when you're paying more than what it's worth, you have nothing to fall back on. What if you need that equity a year from now? The equity is not going to be there.
Right.
I always say it's great that you have equity. It's great that you can refinance right now for that lower rate, but don't max your credit card.
Yep.
And that's what happens when you take all the equity out of your house. You just maxed your credit card.
Yeah, exactly. Diane, same question to you, or same. What's topical for you? And then sometimes you're seeing these appraisals coming in a little lighter than the sales price.
So what people need to understand is that people like Ray, the appraisers, are regulated. So they have to answer if, let's say, what happened in 2006, 7, 8, whenever all that was, they would go back. They go back to the appraiser and say, "How did you come up with this value?" They do get They are regulated, and I don't know that people realize that. So when people come to me, because people are desperate because there's a shortage of inventory. We've talked about it. And when they come to me and I happen to look up what the sales price is and they're paying more than sales price, to explain to them that now realtors will explain to them as well. Okay, if the appraisal comes in at sales price or less, you are paying the difference. A lot of realtors do that, and a lot of customers are willing to do that because they do want to buy a home, but. Right. I don't know that I'm right there with Ray, but it just depends on. But I always explain to them your purchase price to us is either the appraisal or the sales contract, whichever is less. It is not whatever you have on that sales contract.
Yeah.
So it is whichever is less. So it takes a big team between the realtors, the appraiser, ourselves, to actually make sure that everybody understands what they're doing and what they're getting into. I was talking about, we had an appraisal that was, a couple $100,000 off. And, a good realtor will explain to their seller and do a good market analysis and let them know that you just can't give them a price.
Yeah.
And expect them to list it.
Yeah. So here's the dynamic of that, because I think earlier at some point somebody, Ray had mentioned, he asked the the listing agent, how did you price? What comps did you use? Oh, I don't know. I just took the seller's, what they wanted to get for it, right?
Well, I think that was Diane, but I've actually had that before.
Okay, that was Diane. So what happens is, right, so that dynamic, what happens is it's so competitive out there in the real estate space. Again, there's 25,000 realtors in the greater Tampa Bay area. Some of them are great people. They're part-timers. They may be a kid's soccer coach, et cetera. But what happens is they'll do anything to get that listing, within reason, of course. And what they're doing is they're taking, in many cases, just the seller's word for it or overpriced listing, whatever it takes to get that taken care of. And Diane, do you have to run, or you want to hang on with this?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
right
you can
now.
hang out.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break here, but that's kind of the dynamic that we're seeing right now. There's low inventory. It's such a great time for sellers, and it's a tough time for buyers. But I'll tell you what the secret is right now as well. When we come back, there's a really unique niche right now that you want to hear about for move-up buyers, and I'm going to explain what I mean on the other side of this. Also, more from Ray Hall coming up, Diane Vance, and our feel-good story of the day, a woman who can't swim rescues elderly man who fell into the harbor. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, Consumer Quarterback Show page, as well as the Platinum MVP Team, PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. We'll be right back after this short break.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
All righty, are we good?
Here, and that way I can leave time for Jason.
Nonsense, and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals. If you're buying, selling, or investing, we would love to talk to you. Reach out to the hotline, 813-750-0550. You can call or text that line, 813-750-0550. That's our off-air hotline.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
ConsumerQB.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors, their contact information, previous shows, and more at ConsumerQB.com. You can also submit an email form there, and we'll make sure we get right back to you. Brothers Easy Moving is the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. That's Brothers Easy Moving. Reach out to Brothers Easy Moving, whether you're planning a local or long-distance move. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives. All right, we got some hot properties here. 801 East Palm, 803 East Palm Avenue, right here in Tampa, close to Ybor, close to downtown. It's a great investment opportunity. I've got 3 properties side by side, $750,000 each. 1905 North Taliaferro is also included with those, so $750,000 each. Great buying opportunity for investor. Check it out. It's operating currently as a hostel. Cash flow at 801 East Palm in beautiful Tampa. Also, I've got a bar for sale. Everybody interested in a bar? Ever thought about having your own nightclub? 5402 US Highway 92. The Finish Line Saloon is for sale out in Plant City. Great opportunity. I was just talking to the owner. Cash flow. This thing is making, she told me, between $10,000 and $15,000 a week in revenue. $10,000 to $15,000 or $13,000 a week, and about 20 to 30% of that is cash. So 5402 US Highway 92 bar in Plant City. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right, more in studio here. We got Ray Hall Appraisals, Diane VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage. The economy's booming. Things are happening, especially here in Tampa Bay. People are moving at record numbers. So we are hiring. We're all hiring. We're looking for great realtors. Ray, you're hiring. Diane, you said you're hiring.
Actually, I'm quitting and buying that bar.
There you go.
Yeah.
Buy that bar. Good
know,
idea.
Right. Maybe we need to think about that.
I think so.
But I am definitely hiring LOs, loan officers, and loan officer assistants. I did actually hire our own underwriter, so I'm really excited about that. She's awesome. So it's good.
Yep.
Good deal. So where would they apply? Go to Fairway?
Or just go to my website and send me an email.
DianeVance.com?
Yep. Send me an email, and
DianeVance.com.
I certainly will reach out to you and tell you what to do.
looking for a job, reach out there. Ray Hall, you're also hiring?
Yes, we're looking for experienced appraisal assistants to help us with some of our reporting.
Okay.
So you can go to the website or email me at ray@rayhallappraisals.com. Just attach your resume and we'll be in touch. But this will be a full-time position, salaried, and
Cool.
we need some good people.
Yeah, that's the way you grow. You have the systems in place. You grow. You're smart with the technology side, and you have in hot market right now. So people, if they're looking for opportunities, the opportunities are out there. It's such an opportunistic time to be a business owner, and also looking. If you're looking for employment, these are the types of opportunities that you don't want to miss.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the local economy. Let's go into like a top tip. Give me something that you hear a lot, Ray, that you just think, wow, this is something. Number one misnomer. Top tips. Words of advice.
Misnomer regarding real estate?
Yeah, real estate, mortgage, appraisal.
The biggest misnomer is just pay it now because it's going to go up in value.
Right.
Never any good investor out there in real estate will tell you, do not count on appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
Look for the deal. It's going to take longer to get that house, but you don't want to overpay. And I know I've said it a lot of times, and I'll say it again. Don't overpay for your house. It's going to hurt you in the long run. Yeah,
I agree with you. And especially just maybe like a counterpoint just to say is like, right now we kind of have unprecedented times too. So people, you have to be really diligent. So you got to be smart about it. So you got the pandemic, you have all this stuff happening, and then people, of course, naturally moving to South Florida because we're such a great place to live, work, and play. But when you look at multiple offers, having the right addendums, you got to have a real estate team that's going to help you navigate those waters. And
Exactly.
yes, you got to be smart, low inventory. You got to be proactive. Same question to you, Diane.
The biggest misnomer is that you have to have 20% down. You do not have to have 20% down. If you're a first-time home buyer, you can purchase with as little as 3% down. If you're a veteran, 0 down. And if you're in a USDA market, it's 0 down. So you do not have to have 20% down.
Yeah.
That is the biggest misnomer out there. And if it's your move-up home, you can purchase with 3.5% down or 5% down.
That's where I was going. Thanks for reminding me. So we talk about the move-up buyer. When you look at so much competition, everything is supply and demand, right? When you look at supply and demand, and you look at let's say for example, $150,000 to $300,000 home, there's going to be more buyers for that level of a home. It just makes more sense. More people can afford it. There's more opportunity there. Now, for that person who bought that home 5 years ago, 10 years ago maybe, and they've moved up in their career, they've had some investment, they got additional degree, or they just worked hard and moved up, the American dream, right? Moving up in capitalism and working hard and having that pay off. So now you say, wow, honey, let's go look at this $500,000 home or $700,000 home. Now you've got a little bit play in there. Now you're selling a property at a lower price point with more competition, and you're buying at a higher price point with still a lot of competition, unfortunately, but less competition. Is that right? You guys seeing that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
I just did a multi-million-dollar home out by the water, and those homes don't sell in 15 days.
Right.
They don't sell in 5 days like the small house. So, you do have that wiggle room with those houses. I mean, they're usually several months before they can find a qualified buyer for it.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in the $7-8 million range.
I've got a penthouse coming up, $2.6 million. And he's hopefully going to be signing that listing agreement any day here. So hopefully that one will move too.
Yeah,
we'll see.
when I'm doing really well with that bar, then I'll buy that condo.
There you go. That's right. All right, we gotta let you guys go. Thanks so much, Diane
Thank
Vance.
you.
Appreciate
Have a
you.
great day.
Ray Hall. Check him out online, DianeVance.com, RayHallAppraisals.com. And always great content with you guys. Appreciate that. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring in attorney Jason Kobal, our legal analyst here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, and your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show with a market update. Pinellas County latest data from the MLS, multiple listing service data. As of February 2021, we have a reduction in inventory again. So we have a low inventory market already down, low records, 2562 in January, down in February, down to 2142. So that's residential listing units for sale in Pinellas County. Now, if we come down and we look at the sales are actually up. So there's an inverse relationship there. The sales are up in 2021. Sales for January 1615 and 1863 in February. So the sales are up. Inventory is down. It's a great time to be listing your real estate properties. Great time for a move-up buyer. Reach out to our hotline. We would love to talk to you about the market, about your equity in your home, and about how you can get the absolute highest sales price right now. 813-750-0550. Call or text our hotline, 813-750-0550. Also, check out the website, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to our expert contributors, our real estate listings at consumerqb.com. And we would love to help you with your buying, selling, or investing right here in Tampa Bay. Brandon Rhymes, Real Estate Quarterback Show. Talk to you soon.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, telling you something good every day. We tell you something positive here on the show.
Tell me something good.
All right, so a woman in New York was being hailed a hero for jumping into water at Barcelona Harbor and rescue an elderly man who fell in while feeding ducks. Westfield firefighters were called to the harbor around 6:15 p.m. for reports of a man in the water. Westfield Fire Chief Chris Reese said the reporters first learned of a woman identified as Mia Goot, who had been watching the man feeding ducks when he slipped in and fell into Lake Erie, and she saw him go down face first into the water, says the Post-Journal. She ran over to assist, and the miracle part, as he continues, that Mia doesn't swim, so she jumped in and to rescue him as he floated out a bit. So she is being hailed a hero, and he goes on to say that he would not be here if it wasn't for you, end quote. So, feel good story of the day. Good Samaritan jumps in, saves someone in the lake. Good stuff. Welcome in, Jason.
Thank you, Brandon. Always a pleasure.
Yes,
it's a nice
sir.
story.
Yeah, Jason Kobal in the house here. Attorney Jason Kobal, that is. Consumer Quarterback Show. We help you win in a lot of different markets. And today we're talking about work comp law, personal injury law, and general legal questions. I think so many times people have these questions and they're like, man, what do I do? Right? So they're going to contact an attorney and see what their rights are.
That's right.
Yeah, man. So what have you been seeing? What have you been up to lately?
I had something very interesting I wanted to share with the show.
Cool.
Just this week, I had a case in workers' comp. If you have a workers' comp case,
okay,
you can't let more than a year go by since you went to the doctor.
Okay.
And I had a case where, I'm not going to mention any names, but more than a year went by because the person wanted to go to see the doctor in March of this year, of 2020, mind you, and the COVID just started.
Oh.
So he couldn't. Long story short, the carrier denied it, and it was going to trial. And I thought I had a pretty good argument that, hey, the COVID, nobody could go, especially this particular person was elderly.
Yeah.
So if you look at the executive orders by the governor and even the president, no, he shouldn't have been going to the doctor at that point. But at any rate, it was headed to trial, and I got offered an opportunity to settle. They would withdraw their claim for the statute of limitations defense and allow the claim to continue, but not pay me.
Wow.
So, and I never was presented with that in my entire career. And I was like, you know what, though? I have to fall on the sword here because, you know, it wasn't 100%. I mean, I like my argument.
Yeah.
But, you know, the law is the law. That could have been the other interpretation. So it wasn't 100% slam dunk.
Exactly.
So, you know what? I said, okay. And then my client's case continues. We don't have to go to trial. We won, except I didn't get paid, but that's all right. It'll come back around.
So you did a good Samaritan thing
that's
there
it.
as well.
Yeah, first time that ever happened to me, but I think I didn't really have a choice.
Jeez, the audacity of these companies sometimes, right?
Oh, yeah. Insurance companies are lovely.
Same thing with, sometimes it's not very often in real estate, but, people kind of sometimes treat you like that. It's like, what, you're getting this big commission and those types of things. But yeah, but that's the way to do it, though. Let it come back to you.
That's it. That's it. I mean, I could have possibly said, no, and maybe they would have ultimately given up and paid, but I didn't want to risk that for the client. That was, wasn't a slam dunk. So yeah, that was pretty cool though.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So work comp law, we've talked in times of, they got the 14-day rule when it comes to auto accidents, getting seen by a doctor. And, on that case, it was you've been a year without being seen by a doctor. So for their perspective, they're saying, well, you weren't, in pain or you weren't seeing a doctor actively. You may have been in pain, et cetera. But yeah, so all these different rules and laws, you have to know them.
That's it. Yep, absolutely.
And if you don't, you're setting yourself up for potential pain.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, it's interesting. So DeSantis was in the news this week. I'm going to play a clip here. Let's get your reaction to this.
And what we have done has worked. And they didn't want to discuss that. And obviously, they selectively edited the background. They tried to act like there was a conspiracy with Publix, ignoring the fact that other pharmacies were involved before Publix, doing all our long-term care facilities, and ignoring the fact that I met with the county mayor, who's now is a Democrat, who said what 60 Minutes has done is bunk. But Palm Beach calculated 90% of their seniors live within a mile and a half of a Publix. So when we put it in there, their numbers started going through the roof. So it succeeded there. But what they didn't tell you also, Tucker, is when there was a need in a more rural part of the county, like near Lake Okeechobee, we set up a separate site in a small town called Pahokee. They didn't tell you that. They didn't tell you that we were doing African-American church vaccination drives.
So I'm going to cut it off. It goes on for another 30 seconds, but he's fired up.
Oh, yeah.
And rightfully so. They pick and choose what they wanted to show in that. But, what's your reaction to the Publix thing?
Wow. I tell you what, I'm a big fan of our governor.
Me too.
My all-time favorite governor.
Yes.
And, he's up against not just local media, but national media.
Yeah.
Just because they perceive him as an ally of Trump.
That's right.
And every night you see CNN or somebody's trying to nail him for something.
Yeah.
But, man, he is impressive. And with this situation, obviously, he's been amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the guts to open our state long before anyone else did.
That's right.
And it could have backfired. It could have been the end of him, really.
Yep,
and that turned out in hindsight to be the right decision.
That's right.
And with the seniors, obviously in Florida, that's a major issue.
Yes.
And Publix is our go-to supermarket. So
800 stores.
Yeah.
In the southeast or Florida.
To me, this is like a non-story they're trying to make into a story.
They did, exactly.
Yep. And
they
just to try to get them.
And even the Democrat from West Palm says, hey, I was interviewed for this story. They selectively edited what I said as, a Democrat, or they withdrew it altogether. I can't remember the details, but yeah, so there you go. Publix. And Publix is a great company based out in Lakeland here, so they try to pit Publix in a bad light as well.
And that's a shame because I tell you what, I've had a lot of cases against Publix, and I've got nothing but respect for them. I mean, they hire everybody, they promote everybody from within.
Yes.
So if there's a supervisor, that he's been a bag boy, and every supervisor has to have had every job they have in the store. So stocking,
that's
bag
cool.
Boy. Yeah, I mean they're really unique company and top notch company.
Yeah, that is. It really is. It reminds me too of in my early career. One of my first jobs out of school was at the Ritz-Carlton. And, great place to work. Everything it's my pleasure. It's first class. It's the next level of anticipation when it comes to a guest's needs. And you kind of feel that in Publix, too.
Absolutely. Yep. I just stayed at the Ritz-Carlton in Aruba.
Nice.
Top notch.
Yeah.
That's classy. That doesn't surprise me.
I love Ritz-Carltons, yeah.
Yep.
We're talking with attorney Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and helping consumers win. That's our tagline. How do you help consumers win, Jason?
Recently I've been doing a lot of consumer debt issues.
Oh yeah,
and it started out as just injured workers who receive bills, because it's never supposed to happen. So if you have a workers' comp case and you got a bill, that should not have happened.
Yep.
And the mere fact you got a bill, even if they paid it, even if the carrier paid it, the mere fact it was first sent to you is a violation. So give me a call. But that grew into any kind of invalid debt I help people with, and there's so much. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, and literally you get law firms that are suing people for invalid debt, and then they come to me and I'm like, well, not only is this invalid and their lawsuit is garbage, but we could countersue them now. And I've done that a few times. So it's really the audacity of some of these law firms, to take on a case where you're pursuing a debt and they're just hoping to get the default.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just terrible.
I've seen that happen too, and it's almost like corporate skimming.
Yep.
You ever get these charges on your account? You're like, wait, I didn't do that. Well, it was an error. Well, I bet you did this error to millions of people nationwide, and it was just a small error, but you did it this many times. I think there needs to be something done about that. But also, scams. We talk about scams and how people can be diligent these days. I'm getting an uptick in these text messages that say, hey, tell me more about this property, or can you let me know more about this property? And it's like a fake link. They want me to click on that link.
Right, yeah. And then they target it to like your line of work, because I'll get the same thing. It's amazing. They really come a long way.
That's
right.
Scam artists. Yeah, the scammers are getting smarter, and unfortunately some people are falling for it. I guess that's why they keep doing it.
Right.
So some people,
they do it to enough people, a small percentage is going to fall for it, I guess.
That's right. Yeah. Attorney Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm Brandon Rhymes. If you just joined us, consumerqb.com is our website for the QB show. You can see links to all of our partners there. You can see previous shows as well. Jason, what else is topical right now? I mean, it's an interesting time. We're kind of we got the tax time. You got interesting time. Real estate market is super hot. Things are booming in that space. What else are you seeing?
There's a lot of car accidents for whatever reason. The last couple months. And I tell you what, that field, it's the most competitive field, because there's a lot of cases where these attorneys, you can make a lot of money quick and easy. So that everybody wants to do it. But because of that, if you are someone who was hurt in a car accident caused by someone else, and your attorney is not doing everything and anything for you, then you need to find one that will, because honestly, the competition is that strong that you deserve that top-notch treatment.
Well, how easy can you fire your attorney?
Oh, you just put something in writing. That's it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want you to be my attorney anymore.
Yeah.
And if he didn't file suit, he doesn't even have a lien.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't realize that. They get afraid. They feel like they're stuck with their attorney.
What's the proper way to hire an attorney?
Well, obviously you want to sit down and meet with them and then sign their contract. And then once you sign the contract, that's it.
And in the interview process, what would be a good question or a couple questions to ask?
Definitely ask your attorney if he or she is going to be the person that's handling the case. Now, mind you, if you're not even talking to your attorney in the interview, I find that to be a big red flag.
There you go.
Because, you get a lot of firms that are huge and that they'll send investigators.
Right.
And then you never even meet your attorney.
Right.
And actually, you got to give some of them credit. It's set up that way for a reason, so the attorneys can't get tight with the clients and they can go run off and make their own practice.
Okay.
But as somebody who's in need of legal advice and hurt in an accident like that, you don't want to be in a situation. You want to make sure that you're communicating with the attorney that's handling your case,
right?
Not an associate, not an investigator.
Good. Those are good tips. And you touched on something. I've had investigators on the show, private investigators on the show, and they've got an interesting perspective. What do you see in that space with private investigators?
Oh, man. I see that. I tell you what, the social media, it's like that's a whole other private investigator
right.
lately. But no, even just today, I had a mediation this morning, and there's a video sent to me, and in almost every one of my comp cases, there's a private investigator hired, and they do their surveillance, and I've seen all kinds of interesting things.
Yeah.
Some things I wouldn't even won't be able to mention on the air. but if you're involved in litigation, if you're in a work comp case or you're in a car accident, they're going to be following you.
Yeah.
A lot of them aren't even that good at it. You'll probably catch them, but just be careful and be mindful of what your restrictions are, because that could end your case.
Yeah, especially social media. When you look at social media, it seems like people want to post highs and lows. We're posting good things, and then sometimes we go on there and vent. And that can get you in trouble in a case as well.
Oh yeah, I mean I've seen so many that I wish I really didn't, but I mean of cases where they'll be posting stuff on Facebook about riding a roller coaster, and they're so hurt they're not even supposed to be working. That doesn't go well.
Right, exactly.
A lot of stuff like that.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, you got to be careful along those lines. We've got about a minute left. Our last minute here with you. What's parting words of wisdom? How can people get in touch with you? www.tampaworkcomplaw.com is my website. As far as parting words of wisdom, like I said, if you have an injury case, make sure that you know what's going on. Make sure you know what the limits are, because that's key. You don't want small limits and be treating forever, and then you get no money at the end. The doctors get paid, the attorneys, and not you. And make sure that you're dealing with your attorney directly. Yes, good tips. All right, good stuff. Thanks so much for coming in, Jason. Reach out to Jason Kobal online. You can find him TampaWorkCompLaw.com. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. And hey, another great show. We had Diane VANCE, Ray Hall as well, talking about real estate earlier. Jason Kobal doing a great job on the legal side as a legal analyst for us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we always say we want you to please go out there and do something kind for one another, that random act of kindness, and be a force for good. There's lots of ways to do that. Get engaged as well with local things happening local. I think there's more and more stuff you need to understand what's happening here locally in Tampa Bay, local politics, and be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.